Hi, I'm Karen. Welcome to my channel. Today, I want to show you all of my tarot and oracle decks. I have my tarot journal here with a list of all of my decks and the date that I got them in order because I'm a Virgo and that's what we do. So I've got quite a list going. I'll just be showing briefly each one, so this video is not 2 hours long. Let's get started. The first deck I ever bought was Sacred Destiny Oracle by Denise Linn. This was on January 20th of 2023, and I got this deck first because I had just discovered tarot and oracle decks, and I was a little leery of tarot. I grew up in a very conservative Christian area, and even though that's not my belief system, I still had some residual fear of tarot. So I started out with an oracle deck. This one was perfect for me to start with. It's beautiful. And I want to show next to this one, the one that I got second, because it was later that same month. Actually, it was a week later. Shaman's Dream Oracle by Colette Baron-Reid and Alberto Villaldo. This one and Sacred Destiny Oracle were my only two decks for the entire year of 2023. I use these two oracle decks almost every single day, and obviously I got to know them very well. They are very different in feel from one another. Sacred Destiny is very calm and supportive, has a very sweet energy, beautiful images. And Shaman's Dream is not. It is direct, to the point. It's a little mysterious. And the two of them together were perfect to get me into using decks. I would pull one from each deck most days. Some days I would just choose one or the other, but most days I would pull a card from each, and I would get two very different energies. And using these for a solid year with no other decks, I think was really good for me in developing habits. So this was my first two decks ever, Sacred Destiny and Shaman's Dream. The next deck I got was almost exactly a year later, and this was January 4th of 2024. This is another oracle deck. I didn't plan to get another oracle deck. I was actually planning to get a tarot deck next, but I saw this one and I heard Kyle Gray talk about it. Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards by Kyle Gray with art by Lily Moses. When I saw this deck, I really just fell for it. I wanted it so bad. And so I got it next. This deck is beautiful. I've mostly used it for ancestor work and past life work. But I pulled it this month to use in August as part of my Shop My Decks, because as much as I love it for those energies, I wanted to give it a shot at just using it as an oracle deck without a special purpose. And this is the 4th of August that I'm filming this, so I haven't been using it that long yet as an August deck, but so far it has worked beautifully just as a regular oracle, and I'm happy about that. I love working with angel energy, with guardian energy, with animal energy and seasons. All of the things that are in here. I think that Earth Mother is so beautiful. And there are wonderful, the Sage, the High Priestess, the Lady, the Traveler, so many archetypes in here that I love. So it's good to get to use this deck for something other than those two specialized purposes I was using it for before. So that was the next deck I got. And then finally, I got a tarot deck. And I started with Affirmators. I got this on January 25th. Now keep in mind, I was very nervous about getting a tarot deck, so this was perfect for me to start with. And I still to this day love this deck. I love the colors and the book. It's just a little book, but it has such funny, witty, supportive, affirming messages in it. Each one has a little affirmation and then a little paragraph about that card, and it's perfect. And I've talked on this channel before about how I use this every day for probably close to 2 years as my work deck. I would pull a card every day before work, and it really helped me get going. I worked in that job for 17 years, and the last couple of years were really pretty rough, honestly. And this deck really helped me to get out of the house in the mornings. So this was my first actual tarot deck, and it was a great one because it does follow the Rider-Waite system, but it's so just cute and funny and lighthearted that it didn't feel like a heavy tarot deck. I really needed to dip my toes in, and this was perfect for that. So I got Affirmators on January 25th. Then on February 3rd of 2024, I finally got an actual tarot deck, an RWS. I got the Universal Waite, which I love. I've talked about this deck before too. I got it as a study deck to learn the tarot, but as it turns out, it's also great for readings. I get some great readings from this deck. I didn't think I would because I'm just not a big fan of this artwork, but this one has those soft colored pencils recoloring in it, and I think that helps to keep it within a realm that I can work with. I love the energy of this deck. I've had some just really amazing readings with it. So this was my first real tarot, although Affirmators I felt like was pretty real for such a fun deck. The next deck I got was White Sage Tarot. This is my only deck in a tin. I love the size because, oh, I bent one of my cards. Oh no. I shut it in the tin. I can't be trusted with things. Okay. This is so easy to shuffle, and it's so cute. I'll just show it to you really quick if you haven't seen it. It's animals on pretty much every card. Some of the cards are just pips like this, but the minors are just pips, but they have a ribbon, and each ribbon aligns to a chakra. And then there's a little cheat sheet if you don't know the chakras that tells you about the chakras, so that you know if you get this ribbon, you match it up. This one is red, and so that is your root chakra. And the majors, another root chakra. Here's your solar plexus and your throat chakra. And then they're pips, but they have a little something extra to them. I think this is a great little deck. This is my only pip-ish deck. And I work with chakra energy a lot, so that helps me to work with it as someone who doesn't really like pip decks. That little bit of chakra inclusion makes a huge difference for me. And it's so cute. The animals are so cute in this. So I got that one on February 10th of 2024. Then on February 12th, actually that one and the next two were all three gifts from my husband. He has gotten probably more of my decks than I have, but this was the first order of gifts that he got for me. This was for Valentine's Day. So there was this one. There was the Shadowscapes Tarot and the Tree Keepers Oracle. The Shadowscapes Tarot is by Stephanie Poo Law, and the introduction and guidebook were written by Barbara Moore. Most of you have probably seen this, so I'm not going to show a lot of these cards. But in case you haven't, it's that beautiful Stephanie Poo Law artwork. So pretty. It's got that fairy energy, that kind of fantastical energy, and I love it. And for me, this and Tree Keepers are a bonded pair, because this one also has artwork by Stephanie Law, but the guidebook in this one was written by Angie Solins. And I think it speaks to Stephanie Law's reputation in the tarot community that she had someone like Barbara Moore write one book for her and somebody like Angie Solins. I adore Angie Solins' writing. I love this one too. It has that same beautiful artwork style that she has. I actually, if I had to pick one of these two to keep, I would keep Tree Keepers. I have a special spiritual connection to trees anyway, and this one is so beautiful. So if I had to pick between the tarot and the oracle, I would pick the oracle, but for me, this is a bonded pair, so neither one's going anywhere. So those were my Valentine's gifts. And then on March 29th, which was over a month later, I started slowing my roll a little bit. I got a couple of decks from Chris-Anne. I had seen these two decks on YouTube. I can't remember which channels. They were not on the same channel, but I saw them both. And I just really was attracted to both of these decks. And these are also a bonded pair for me. I used these, I think it was last month as my Shop My Decks. And they are my creative energy decks. I love them both. They work so well together. This one always has a little affirmation for creating. And then this, of course, is a beautiful tarot, the Muse. And to this day, these are two of my favorite decks. The next deck I got was Witch Sister Tarot. I got this one on March 30th, and this was the first deck that I got specifically to do a deck study. I almost didn't get this deck. Honestly, I wasn't ready for this deck. I was still pretty new in my tarot practice. I'd only been using tarot for 2 months. The whole year before was just Oracle. And this is a pretty intense deck. I used it for that deck study, and I mostly used it for the ancestral work because I do have quite a bit of Scottish ancestry. At first, I thought that these faces were so ugly because they have, almost all of them have some dark lines and everything. But as time has gone by, I have learned to truly love these faces. Julia Jeffrey is the artist and the writer of this book, and she is in Scotland. And I feel like the faces now that I've gotten to know all of them and love all of them, are just so expressive and powerful. And I've had, I would say still to this day, the most intense tarot reading I've ever had was with this deck. I love the older faces in this deck. It's just beautiful. So that's Witch Sisters Tarot. That was the next deck I got. Then in May of 2024, I got Sylvankind Oracle. This is one that I saw on Lisa Pepez's channel, and I went directly and ordered it. I think, looking around, yes, this was my first indie deck. This is from Greg White, and I ordered this directly from his website. This is another deck that's in my Shop My Deck this month, and I've been using it the last few days. If you saw my Shop My Deck, you know that I ended up picking 1 tarot and 3 oracles. Usually I just have 1 and 1, but that's how it turned out this time. And this is one of the 3 that I'm using this month, and I love it. It's beautiful. This deck has a calm, supportive energy, and also has a strong ecological bent, which I love. I love supporting our environment. The author and artist spends a lot of time talking about the different trees and how they work within their habitat. It's a beautiful deck. The next deck I got was Into the Lonely Woods by Lucy Cavendish with art by Dan May. This is a precious deck to me. I've had some very special moments with this deck. I can't say that it's exactly a shadow deck, and I can't say it's an inner child deck, but it touches something deep inside of me, and I love it. I've cried over this deck. I've laughed over this deck. I've just sat with this deck. It is wonderful. Into the Lonely Woods. The next deck I got was Woodland Warden's Oracle. This is another, I think this is this the 3rd of the decks, of the Oracle decks I'm working with this month? I didn't realize they were all ones I'd had this long. But that's kind of the whole reason I'm doing Shop My Decks. I'm pulling out decks that maybe I loved and used a lot when I first got them, and then with new decks coming in, they've kind of fallen to the wayside. So now I'm bringing my attention back to them. So I'm glad to see that my plan is working. This is a beautiful animal deck. This is by Jessica Rue, the artwork and the guidebook. I love that badger. The animals are wonderfully drawn. And this is a very popular deck, so I'm sure you probably have seen this one. But this was the next deck I got, and I'm using it this month in my Shop My Stash. Or Shop My Decks, I'm sorry. This started out as a beauty YouTube channel, which a big thing on beauty YouTube is Shop My Stash. You go through your makeup collection and pull out what you're going to use for the month, and that's how I got my Shop My Decks idea. Okay, next up is the tarot deck that I'm using. Look at me go, using all these decks I've had for a while. I got this one in July of 2024, just about a week after I got Woodland Wardens. And this is by Barbara Moore with artwork by Jessica Rue. The Good Fortune Tarot is, I think, the 2nd deck I got to actually use in a deck study. but I think I would have gotten this one anyway if I had seen it otherwise, because I really enjoy the artwork in this. It is RWS, but it's very clear and crisp, and the characters are more modern, and yet they have a storybook flair to them. The scenery is beautiful, and there is so much symbolism that Barbara Moore included in this deck. So it's wonderful. And of course, being Barbara Moore and the great teacher that she is, she explains all of it in the guidebook. So I'm having a lot of fun using this as my tarot deck and the 3 oracles, Woodland Wardens, Sylvankind, and Angels and Ancestors as my oracles to use with this. The next deck I got was in September. So I didn't get anything in August of 2024. I felt like I had overloaded myself a bit. For someone who was so new into tarot, I'd only been reading for about, let's see, by September it was 9 months, because I started in January 2024. This deck I bought because I was doing Unlocking the Tarot, the book by Lisa Pepez, which I love and adore. I picked the keywords and unlocked this deck, writing the keywords. And some I wanted more than one keyword, so I did. But this is my study deck for my keywords. I don't use this for readings, really. It's very much an RWS clone, just with more modern looking people. And I don't really feel any need whatsoever to use it as a tarot deck, because I've written all my keywords on it, and that's what I use it for. If I want to just pull out a deck real quick to remember what keyword I've used for what card, I keep it in order, and I just flip to it and look. So this is the Awakened Tarot by Team Rive. I don't know. I saw it on Amazon. The price was not bad. I liked the artwork, and I thought it would be perfect for my Unlocking the Tarot study, and it was. Then later in September, actually the next week, was my birthday, September 19th, and it just so happened that Hay House was having a sale. So I got 3 decks from Hay House. The first one is my Angel deck, Angel Wisdom Tarot, or as Radleigh Valentine, the creator of this deck, says, Tarot. In my head, I always say tarot, except when I'm talking about one of Radleigh Valentine's decks, and then I have to say Angel Wisdom Tarot. I can hear him saying it in my head all the time. This deck is obviously very well loved. I use this deck pretty much every single day. And let's see, September 2024, I'm filming this August of 2026, so almost 2 years I've used this almost every day. So I would say this is probably my most used deck. My spiritual practice is very eclectic. I pull in what works for me and leave behind what doesn't. And angel energy absolutely works for me. So this is my angel deck. I don't really need another angel deck. I do have Angels and Ancestors, but that one has a whole different feel. I do love the energy of it, but it's not this kind of angel deck. This is my archangels, Haniel and Uriel. Haniel again. They don't have angels on the court cards. Jeremiel. It says in the corner down here so that you know which angel it is. I haven't memorized all these, although I probably could have by now as much as I use it. Raziel, Zadkiel, Uriel. And I can't say that I adore the artwork in these, but I don't care. They're my angel deck. This is my angel cards. I love them. So the artwork's just fine by me. And I keep them in this box because this was in a tuck box. This thing is huge. It was awkward. I hate tuck boxes anyhow. I have several of my decks in wooden boxes. You'll see here in a minute. But this is the first tuck box I think I had. Yeah, I'm looking down there and everything else is in its original box, so it wasn't a tuck box. Then the second of my 3 birthday decks, along with Angel Wisdom Tarot, was Light Seers Tarot. And this was a deck that I really resisted getting for a long time. And I talked about that recently, about how I thought this deck was just too young for me. And never say never. That's on my Never Say Never video. But I love Chris-Anne. I had already gotten the Muse Tarot and Sacred Creators Oracle. So I knew that I loved her writing and her guidebooks and her artwork. And I took a chance, and now I just absolutely love this deck. It ended up being a deck study deck for me. And I used it that way, and I'm so happy I got it. Then the third deck I got for my birthday in 2024 was another Chris-Anne deck, because it was part of that same Hay House sale. I got Tarot of Curious Creatures, which made my Chris-Anne collection complete. I have all of her decks. And I'm not a completionist. I'm not someone who feels like I have to get all of anyone's decks. It just turned out that she only has 4, and each of them are so different than the others that I got all 4. This one, I don't really like decks that put animals in clothing and in houses and things like that. But this deck is different to me. This one has just this fine nuance of a difference that makes all the difference in the world to me. These are people. These are people, and this is their animal energy in their minds for this card. That's how the book's written. That's how the cards look to me now that I've gotten used to it. It's not animals with people bodies. It's people with animal energy. And that's how I see this. And that's how I can love and use this deck. Yes, it's quirky. Yes, it's funny. It makes me smile all the time. But at the same time, it makes sense. When I pull a card and I read about 9 of Pentacles and I read about what this animal was chosen, what the animal energy is, it always makes sense. And she does include a lot of the regular tarot symbology in these cards also, so that helps a lot too. But this was my 3rd birthday deck in September of 2024, and my deck that completed my Chris-Anne collection. Then on October 2nd of 2024, I got in my first ever Kickstarter deck. This is Unicorn's Journey Tarot by Lisa Pepez. I have my little card of authenticity here. I watched Lisa create this deck, or at least most of it. She had started on the deck when I found her channel, but I watched the last cards be created. I was there on the day it launched on Kickstarter. I was one of the first backers, and I love this deck. It's a storybook deck. It tells a story about Mystic the unicorn and his self-discovery path of finding that he is a unicorn. And we're doing a deck study right now in Lisa Pepez's membership on this deck, and I'm loving it. I had read the story all the way through when I first got the deck, but it's fun to go back and refresh my memory 2 years later on the story of Mystic. It's sweet and supportive. Lisa has written a book called The Self-Worth Path, and there's a self-worth message on every one of the cards in this deck. So it's very much a Lisa Pepez deck, and she says that. She says this is her deck, and I can feel it in the writing, in the pictures. The artist, let's see, is Francesca, and I'm not going to try to pronounce Francesca's last name. There it is. But the art is just perfect for Lisa's vision. Lisa is creating another deck with Francesca, and I cannot wait to get it also. But this was my first one, and this was her first one. My first Kickstarter was Lisa's first deck. Then in November of 2024, my husband got me another gift deck, the Dreamgate Oracle. What I usually do is I'll put decks on my Amazon wish list, and he will go shopping there if he wants to get me something. This wasn't for any kind of holiday or event or anything. He just got me the deck. This is my nighttime deck. This lives on my nightstand. This is the only deck on my nightstand, and it lives there because it's just perfect as a nighttime deck to me. It's soft and dreamy, which is, you know, the Dreamgate Oracle. It should be. Oops, messed up my little placemat. I had to put a placemat down today instead of my regular reading cloth because I've got so many decks out here. But this one, I'll pull a card at night. I'll read some of the little keywords here at the bottom. I'll read the passage in the book. It has some questions. At the beginning, it has some affirmations. 2 affirmations, and then at the end, it has 2 prompts, and I kind of think about those as I'm going to sleep, and it's wonderful. This is by Danielle Noel. This is my only deck by her, but I really do love it because it was a gift just out of nowhere for no reason at all, because it's beautiful and because it is my nighttime deck, and it has been since I got it. The next deck I got was in December of 2024, and it is a Christmas deck. I got the Yuletide Tarot by Christopher Hughes. This is my only Christmas deck because it's the only one I need. I love this deck for Christmas. It's perfect. It just feels like everything I love about Christmas. It's wonderful. I love this artwork. The art is by Erin O'Leary Brown, and I think she did an amazing job. The guidebook is wonderful too. It's modern, and it has a lot of modern themes in it, like the 5 of Wands. A little bit of dispute over the bills there, I'd say, for the holidays. You know, it has real life themes, but it's got that family feel too. 5 of Cups. She's got the broken wine glasses and doesn't see the 2 chalices here behind her. You know, it's got all the regular RWS themes for Christmas. So this is my Christmas deck. Yuletide Tarot by Christopher Hughes. The next deck I got was not until February. I didn't get anything in January of 2025. So this is the Wild Unknown Archetypes. I got this on February 27th, so it was actually the very end of February that I got this. I keep this in its little box, which is a pain, but I only use it once a month. I pull an archetype card on the 1st of every month, and I use it that month as an archetype study. It stays out on my reading table. And this is the artwork that I'm sure everyone has seen. If you've probably seen this deck. If you haven't seen this deck, you've seen the Wild Unknown Tarot or one of the other oracles, but I love this deck so much. You can tell the ones I have pulled for my monthly draw because I write some of the keywords around it. That way, while I have it setting out, I don't have to get in and out of this box all month. I just have the words written there. You can see I've used it since I got it in February of 2025 because there's a lot of the cards written on. So far, surprisingly enough, I haven't pulled the same card twice, but as many as I've used, I'd say that's probably going to happen soon. So this is The Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans. Then in March of 2025, I got these two decks in. These were my second Kickstarter decks. Sassy Dragons Tarot by Peggy Papez, supervised by Lisa Papez, with the artwork by Andrew Rogers and Christopher Penzel. I have the Not Safe for Work version with a little bit of potty mouth there from Peggy. And then I have the classic version that you can take to work or anywhere else you'd like. They have the same little message with just a extra bit of sass on the Not Safe for Work. The artwork is the same in both decks. It's so cute. All of the animals to me look like little teddy bears. There's juice boxes for the cups. There's little stick horses for all of the horses in the decks. The swords are little wooden swords. Oh, 9 of Swords. Tell your fear to F right off forever. Consider what's likely, not just worst case scenarios. And then on the classic, it'd just say, consider what's likely, not just worst case scenarios. So they have the same type of message, but I love them both. I love this cardstock. This is the wonderful cardstock that Lisa uses for all of her decks. She used it for Unicorn's Journey. She used it for these ones that she created with Peggy, and she's used it. She has a couple of RWS revision type decks that she's made, and they have the same cardstock, and then the ones that she's designing right now, I'm sure will have that same wonderful cardstock. But these are slightly smaller, which is great for my hands. I love it. So, Sassy Dragons, if you haven't seen these and you'd like to see a walkthrough, let me know down below, because I've only done walkthroughs on the decks that I've gotten since I started doing TarotTube. I haven't done walkthroughs on any of my older decks. So if you'd like to see a walkthrough on anything that I'm showing, just let me know, and I'd be happy to do it. Okay, the next 4 decks were all gifts from Kenny, from my husband. They were spread out over time, but I had gotten to where I felt guilty for spending so much money on tarot decks and oracle decks, so I stopped buying for a while. He went ahead and bought some for me anyway. The one that he bought me first of this group was Earth Wisdom Oracle, and he got this one for me on May 9th of 2025, and then another one came in the next day, a tarot deck. So this one came in. I adore this deck. I've been trying to find the right tarot deck to pair it with, and I haven't yet. I don't care. I love it and use it by itself. I think it is so beautiful. And this is an ancestral deck for me. I have English, Irish, Scottish, and then some Nordic, I believe Finnish, maybe blood. Yeah, no Welsh. My husband has a little bit of Welsh, but I've got the rest of the British Isles. And then I've got a little bit of Native American, but this is with its Celtic symbolism. is another ancestral deck for me that I love very much. So that was on May 9th. And then the next day, I'd say he ordered these two together. I don't think I ever really asked him because I was just so surprised when this one came in, and then the next day, this one came in. Tarot Landscapes, one of my favorite tarot decks. And it's in my least favorite packaging of all time. It's in this little box that you can set on your shelf, which is awesome. But then if you pick it up wrong, it's not going to do it now, but earlier today when I picked it up, the bottom fell out, the cards went everywhere. So yeah, there's that. Then inside is this tuck box, which obviously I don't get along with tuck boxes. I just tore the whole lid off. I'm keeping it in there because I've heard people talk about this deck warping. And I think it's probably a lot of times if you keep it in bags, if you take it out of the boxes, because a couple of the people I heard talking about that I know keep their decks in boxes. So I don't want to do that. So I keep it, and I don't want to keep it loose in this big box. So I keep it in this tuck box that I've tore all to pieces. But this deck is fun and wonderful, and I used it. I don't read with reversals, so I don't know why there's reversals in here. But anyway, that's okay. It's so pretty. I used this a couple of months ago in my Shop My Decks and had a wonderful time with it. Yeah, it looks like oh, when I dropped them earlier today, I was confused. I was like, why are there reversals in here? But that's why. It's because when I dropped it, I just was getting ready for this video and trying to get out all 40-some of my decks. So when I dropped it, I just kind of picked it up and put it back in. And that's what's happened. I'll have to straighten it out later. But I don't really mind when a reversal shows up. That just means something to me specifically. It just emphasizes the meaning of the card. And that's why I don't include them intentionally. If it does show up accidentally, I feel like that's telling me something. And I always put this in here backwards and it has a little notch, but if I don't put it in the right way. Okay, I'm done complaining about the box because I love the deck and it's worth every bit of effort. So that was Tarot Landscapes. And that was in May of 2025. And then Kenny got me another deck in July of 2025. Another animal deck. This one I've talked about before because this is the first deck I ever edged. I just edged my first deck, this one, last month. And it was because I love these backs so much, but I didn't really feel like they blended with the fronts. And I felt like the fronts were a little flat and not really exciting. So I wanted to add a little bit of depth. And it did bleed over just enough to make it all kind of blend, in my opinion. I feel like now the edging has tied together the back of the decks with the front of the deck. And I enjoy this deck much more now. Of course, anytime you edge a deck, you're going to bond a little bit more with it. So that's part of it. But it just gave me that confidence. I love the color. I love the depth that it's given to the deck. Familiar Fields Oracle. This is by Hannah Elizabeth Fofana. I don't think I said. Earth Wisdom Oracle is by Barbara Moore with the art by Christina Scagliotti. And just in case I missed it, Tarot Landscapes is by Francesca Mattioni with illustrations by Yossi Mari. Then the fourth of that slew of decks that Kenny got for me was on September 9th of 2025, and it was Landscapes Tarot. This one is by John A. Rice. I always want to say H, I'm not sure why. Tarot Landscapes. I adore this deck. This is my landscape deck. I don't need another landscape deck. I mean, I've got Tarot Landscapes, but that's to me more of a landscape and animal deck. This is a landscape deck. And I love it. It's so beautiful. These are they oil paintings? They're paintings. I know he painted them. John A. Rice painted these, and on his Instagram you could see him painting the deck as he was creating it. And it started out as a independent, I think majors only, but I didn't know about it until it came onto the mass market, and I put it on my wish list, and Kenny got it for me right away, and I love it. Then the next deck I got was Tarot of the Abyss by Anna Torian. I talked about this on my Never Say Never video also, because this is a black and white deck, or an off-white and black deck. I never thought I wouldn't want one of those, but I got this one thinking I was going to use it for a shadow deck study, and it turned out not to be a shadow deck at all for me, but I fell in love with it. I knew I loved Anna Torian's work, but I didn't know that I would love it without the color, but I do. So this deck is a favorite instantly. It didn't work for shadow work, but it works as a tarot deck for me. The next deck I got was another deck that I got for a deck study, and this is Midnight Magic, and this will be the first time I'm showing this, but this was the third deck I edged. I don't think I showed where I edged the Witch Sisters. I'm not going to pull it back out, but I did edge it in a brown that I love, and I was actually going to do this one first because it had the black border in the front, the black border in the back, and I figured I couldn't go wrong edging this one in black, but I ended up doing the others first. But I'm really happy with how this one came out. I think it needed this, and I'm really happy I did it. This is a mushroom deck, and we did a deck study on this one, which was a lot of fun. And I think the artwork is beautiful in this. And I'm going to show you this. I didn't buy these two at the same time, but this deck and then the next deck I got a month later. I got this one November 25th of 2025, and this one came in December 25th. Actually, probably came in, it was a Christmas present from Kenny. So yeah, that's why it says December 25th. He gave it to me on December 25th. But even though these didn't come in at the same time, I ended up falling in love with these two together. This one already had the black edging, and I love them. This is Arcana Folia, and I think they look perfect together. So during that deck study, I ended up using both of these together once this one had come in, and I got it for Christmas from Kenny. I have a few more to follow this one that were part of that Christmas gift from Kenny, Christmas decks. But this one I wanted to show because I just love it so much. And now it really goes with Arcana Folia, with the decks, the edges colored. And this one actually is more of an eggplant color. It's not really black, and you can see that when they're side by side, but I think that it's still perfect together. I just think these look beautiful together. And it wasn't intentional. I didn't buy them to go together, but I was thrilled when they did. If I could just learn to flip over cards without getting them out of order, it'd be an achievement. So Arcana Folia, this one is by, I never can find the name on this one. Here. Oh, and this is the one, Nora Paskaleva, I believe is how you would say that. And then Midnight Magic by Sarah Richard. Okay, so Arcana Folia was a Christmas deck. And then I got 3 more Christmas decks that came in with those. The next one was Heavenly Bodies. This is by Lily Ashwell. And I've been wanting to get an astrology deck. I wasn't sure how I would use it. And to tell you the truth, I'm really still not sure how I'm going to use it and use it more often. What I'm doing right now is I have the moon card out on my reading table, and I pull whichever sign the moon is in. Right now it's in Aries, and then I pull which house it's in. Right now it's in the 11th house. So I'm using it just for moon readings, but I have... One of my problems with this deck is it doesn't have the different phases of the moon. It just has a moon card, and then it has a sun card. And it has all the houses, but it also has the elements, and it has the nodes, and like there's the cardinal, fixed, mutable for the signs. And I just don't know how to use it. I'm just using it for moons right now, but it's beautiful. The guidebook is beautiful. It's a hardback book. It's written so well. It's easy to read, has so much information, but I just can't figure out how to make a practical use of the deck. So right now it's a moon phase deck, and that's about as far as I've gotten. But it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And hopefully I'll figure out a way to incorporate it with more astrology than just the moon phases. So then the next deck I got for Christmas from Kenny that year was also my first order from A Riffle in Time. I showed these decks to Kenny and he got them for me. There's two here. I'll show you this one first. This is Magical Nature Tarot. And it still smells so good. It smells like herbs. And I keep it in this wooden box because for one thing, it was in a tuck box. And for another thing, I also keep it in this bag because I'm trying to preserve that wonderful scent. And I've had it since December, since Christmas, last Christmas. And it still has that beautiful smell. So I'm hoping it lasts. I got this from A Riffle in Time, but I believe it's on Make Playing cardstock. It's their Eco Herbage, and I don't know if it always smells like that, but oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. And it's so easy for me to shuffle, and it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite decks. I haven't really sat down and given it a hard thought. You know, this is my favorite deck. This is my second favorite deck, but this is up there. This is high on the list. This is another one that I got for Christmas from A Riffle in Time from Kenny. And this is Todd Alcott's Horror Tarot. I just talked about this one in my Never Say Never video also, so I won't spend a whole lot of time on it, but I love it. It's based on old movie posters and horror comic books and horror novels. You can tell it looks like a paperback. And I just love it. It's from probably 50s, 60s, 70s era, I believe is what Todd Alcott based this on. Oh, and it's so awesome. I love this deck. So cool. I was going to use this as a Halloween deck, and I probably still will. This is probably spooky season for me. But I feel like now that I've gotten to know it, I can use it whenever I'm in the mood. But I probably will have it out for Halloween with another deck that I'll show you here in a minute. So that was all of my Christmas decks. Then I got this deck. This was another one in my Never Say Never. The Original Tarot by DeBry. Another RWS. And that's what I said I would never get. I had the Universal Weight for deck study, and if I wanted to use an RWS. But this is another deck study made me do it. We were doing a deep dive 3-month study of the RWS symbolism, including colors and a lot of the little Easter eggs in the background that you don't always notice. And I wanted a deck that was as close as possible to Pixie's artwork for that study. So I ended up getting this. But like I said in the Never Say Never video, I'm probably not going to keep this. I got it. Why is there so much nudity in this deck? I'm going to get censored. Anyway, you know what this looks like. This is an RWS. And it's a wonderful deck. It's not that it isn't. I just don't feel like I need 2 RWSs. And I never thought I would end up with 2, but I did. And I'll probably end up rehoming this one eventually. But I'm not in a big hurry to do that. It's fine. The next deck I got was a couple of months later in May. My Precious, my Crystal Keys Tarot. I talked about how I discovered tarot and oracle decks watching crystal YouTube videos, because crystals were my first discovery before I even knew about tarot and oracle decks. I was collecting crystals and working with crystal energy. I missed my reading pads, but I needed the room, so we'll move on. This was in my Never Say Never. I think it was the 5th one of my Never Say Never. It was not because I didn't want a crystal deck, it's because I couldn't find one. And then I saw this one on Shanna D's channel, and the rest is history. I am so attached to this deck. I pull a card from it often. It sits on my reading table. I don't aspire to have every crystal in this deck, but there are several that I do want to add to my collection. I have just about half of the crystals that are in here. And I think for my birthday next month, I'm going to go crystal shopping and see if I can check off some more from the list. Oh, I'm too far up, sorry. There. But this is by Dina Rosenberg with artwork by Amelia Drews. And they both did a fantastic job of picking the crystals, of creating a picture that looks like the tarot card and the crystal, and just, yeah, it's beautiful. And the guidebook's wonderful too, and the edging and everything else. And we have now officially gotten into the realm of decks that I've done a walkthrough, because I did a walkthrough of Crystal Keys, and I think of everything else that I've got here pretty much. So if there's anything before this that you would like to see a walkthrough, let me know. And then the rest of these should be up on my channel. The next deck I got was in June of this year. So 2 months ago. 2 months ago. This is Bonestone and Earthflesh by Avalon Cameron with artwork by Anna Torian. I resisted this deck for a while because my unicorn deck is Tarot of Echoes, which is still unavailable. And I was mad that this one was on mass market and Tarot of Echoes wasn't. I was being a brat. But I got over it, and I'm so thankful I did, because I adore this deck. It gives me the most amazing readings. The guidebook. This is my favorite guidebook ever. It is so wonderful. Avalon Cameron writes beautifully. There's a story behind each of the cards. There's a narrative that tells the story behind each of the cards. It has Anna Torian's amazing artwork. I just adore this deck, and I'm so glad I have it now. And I will adore it from now on. Bonestone and Earthflesh Tarot. The next 2 decks were gifts from Kenny. They came in together on the same day, and I did a video about these and how you could not find 2 more different decks. but I love them both. I want to give a little update on them. This is the Mother Mary Oracle by Alana Fairchild and Blood Moon Tarot by Sam Gway. And I know these are at the extremes. I love this deck. I love this book. I'm so glad I have this one. I didn't really know how I would use this deck. I was just drawn to it. And this is turning out to be my shadow deck. Not in a bad way. It's not mean, but it is very direct. And it gives me those answers that I need. And I love it. I just pulled this one yesterday as part of a spread. It's so beautiful. I'm sure you've seen this one. I'm sure everyone's seen this one. If you haven't, I do have a walkthrough of this one on my channel. I adore this deck. And then there's this, the Mother Mary Oracle. At first, I thought I was going to love this artwork, but I don't. It doesn't resonate with me at all. And I thought I would love working with that gentle Mother Mary energy because I didn't have any baggage about Mother Mary. I didn't grow up Catholic. I grew up Christian, where Mother Mary was not a major character really, except at Christmas and Easter. But I can't use it for either of those. Mother Mary. These messages are so supportive and so nurturing, and it's unbelievable how I pull cards that tell me exactly what I need to hear that day. I keep this one in here on my vanity. This is where I do my skincare and get ready for bed at night. And I pull a card from this, and then I go in and pull one from Dreamgate, which is one on my nightstand. So this has become a nighttime deck for me too. And it has been so amazing. The writing. I read the title here, Ripening on the Vine. Then I read the paragraph. You are closer to fruition than you realize. The manifesting desires of your heart are the heavenly fruit, becoming heavy on the vine and ripening, ready to be enjoyed. Fruit that is not gathered and eaten will rot, fertilize the earth, and be born again. Nothing is wasted, yet that fruit could be sweetly savored by those capable of receiving. Gratefully claim and enjoy your harvest. I'm not going to read any more of them, but just trust me, they are all just beautiful. I don't know if anyone else would enjoy this deck because it is such a specific thing to me where I just read those beautiful passages and that's it. I don't know, but for me, I found a way to use it and I'm glad I have it. So there's that one and then this one. So these were both beautiful gifts from Kenny that I love using and have specific purposes for my practice already. Let's see, those were both at the beginning of July. I went a little crazy in July. I ended up getting 5 decks in July. Those 2 were on the 1st of July. And then on the 3rd of July, I got this deck in. This is Unfinished Business by MJ Cullinane. I ordered this directly from her site. This is an indie deck. I don't have a lot of indie decks. I have my Kickstarter decks. I have a couple of the ones I mentioned earlier that I got from A Riffle in Time. And let's see, what else was there? Oh, the Sylvankine Oracle I ordered directly from Greg Rice. This deck, MJ Cullinane, Unfinished Business, A Ghostly Tarot Guidebook. the premise, this little card came in with it. Isn't that cute? The premise of this deck is it tells a story of someone who met an untimely death, and it ties it in with the tarot that it is. And it's kind of a message about living your life and learning a lesson from this death, these ghosts that are on each card. It's poignant, it's deep, thought-provoking, and I love it. I saw this on Jack Greenwood Tarot. I know this is one of his favorite decks, and I'm so glad that I saw it on his channel because I'd never even heard of this deck. I do have a walkthrough on this one also. I'll quit saying that because, let's see, I only have a couple of more. But it's a wonderful deck. Unfinished Business. If you haven't heard of this one, go watch the walkthrough. Go to Jack's channel and watch him talk about it. By MJ Cullinane. And she's known for her Crow tarots, but I think that this one should get more buzz than it does. It's a beautiful deck. Came in this beautiful pouch too. Then the next deck I got was, it was a impulse buy a bit, but not really. I saw this on AB Tarot Marketplace, I think it's called, on Etsy, where you can buy pre-loved decks. This is my first pre-loved deck. I've never bought one. This one was advertised as opened but never used, and I believe that's true because it is pristine. This is Diary of Skeleton, and the grammar, yeah, the grammar's a little off, but that's because this was originally written in Chinese. The front of the guidebook is in Chinese. But then it has the English writing in the back. And I've looked through enough of the passages to know that it's written, the grammar's fine. The grammar's fine. But I got this because it is so adorable. And then when I saw it, I went and searched on YouTube for any walkthroughs, and I saw Robin's Reflection, Robin, talk about this, and she gushed over it. Now I'm going to gush over it a little bit. This is my Halloween deck, if I didn't say that already. I've been looking for a Halloween deck. I got Todd Alcott's Horror Tarot, but it's spooky season-ish, Halloween-ish, but I could use it year-round. This is my dedicated Halloween deck, and I've been looking for the past 2 years for a Halloween deck, and I adore this one. It is so cute. I have not done a walkthrough of this. I'll probably do one around Halloween, but it is so adorable. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love skeletons, and it's just the right mix of cute and sweet, but still, I mean, they went all out. That's what Robin said. They went all out on these. And it has all of the RWS symbolism. Oh, I love that strength with a little kitty cat skeleton instead of a lion. It's cute, but it's fun. There's the hermit. He has a bone at the end of his chain there instead of a lantern, and it's glowing. The Wheel of Fortune. It's just, it's so cute. Every detail is there. I love it. Finally found his face. Oh my God. Finally found my Halloween deck. Diary of Skeleton. I don't know if this is available. I don't know where this is available. If it's not available, I'm sorry. But I think it probably is because it was pretty easy for me to find. The moon. And it's like the big cat and the little kitten. So look at the little horse skeleton. Okay, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. I'll do a walkthrough of this at Halloween. If I don't do one before that, if no one requests one. I don't think anyone's going to request it before Halloween, though, because it is very much a Halloween deck. But Diary of Skeleton. Yay. Oh, and here's the little guidebook. I showed you that. But by Zhang Chuan. And then finally, my last addition to my collection. A Riffle in Time Tarot by the wonderful Cassandra at A Riffle in Time. I mentioned her earlier. I had gotten my Magical Nature Tarot and Horror Tarot from her store. And I plan to buy more from her store. But I had to get this one. This is her deck. And it's wonderful. I've done a walkthrough, so I'm not going to spend too long on it. But if you haven't seen it, go check out my walkthrough. Go check out Cassie's walkthrough on her channel, A Riffle in Time. Support her. She's amazing and beautiful and wonderful and such a great part of our community. And she did an amazing job on this. She says this is a tarot oracle, and it is. You can use it as an oracle, but it also has all the tarot symbols at the bottom. And there are 2 or even 3 of some of the majors to choose from if you want to use it as a tarot. Right now I've got all of the cards in here together, and I'm using it mostly as an oracle right now, but I have used it as a tarot, and it's wonderful that way too. So this is A Riffle in Time Tarot by Cassandra. Let's see, are all the details? They're on here somewhere. Here. By Cassandra Losi, www.ariffleintime.com. That's her store, and it's beautiful. That's it. I am finished. If you stuck with me all this time, thank you. I hope you enjoyed seeing my entire tarot and oracle collection and the history of my collection in order, in Virgo style. If you enjoyed this video, please come back and see me again. Bye for now.